Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Urban Update. I am Alberto Vasallo. Now, on the show this morning, we'll introduce you to a fee-free crowdfunding platform that empowers environmentally minded entrepreneurs who are involved in green products and ideas that work toward a healthier planet. Now, more on that in a little bit. We'll also chat with a young woman who has thrown her hat in the political ring, and you'll meet her. Her name is Stephanie Martin. She is running for city council in Everett. That's a little later on the show. But up first, when you first saw Byron Barnett and myself wearing this white ribbon, we explained that it was part of our pledge as White Ribbon Ambassadors to show our support in speaking out against violence against women and any gender-based violence. Now, the White Ribbon Day, which is coming up next week, or actually this week on Wednesday, is actually an international campaign designed for men to speak out against attitudes and behaviors which condone or tolerate violence. Now, in becoming a White Ribbon Ambassador, there were a few requirements that they asked me. None of them were too hard, but here they are. So the first one was I have to wear the white ribbon on White Ribbon Day, which is March 1st, as I said. I got that, check that. Recruit 5 or more friends, I actually have 5 friends, to wear the ribbon on that day. Check that. I am participating in local events here. I'm going to count that. And then obviously some of the other stuff. Now, joining me actually, my list, which I've got up there, my 5 White Ribbon Ambassadors, Byron Barnett, Gabriel Gomez, Yuri Berenguer, Evan Falchuk, Felix D'Arroyo. Those were my 5 guys. Now, joining me this morning to let you know more about this grand campaign are 2 of my White Ribbon Ambassadors, Gabriel Gomez. Now, when you see him, you might remember Gabriel when he ran for U.S. Senate in 2013. And to his left, his right, Yuri Berenguer. He's a guy I listen to many summer nights, as he's the Boston Red Sox Spanish radio announcer who does it also on SAP. He does all 162 regular season games and the playoffs. And of course, to round things off is my good friend, Toni Troop, Director of Communications and Development for Jane Doe Inc., which is the organization spearheading this campaign locally. So I've been waiting to do this show, Toni. I always call you Toni because of that group, Toni.
Great band, rock group.
That's
absolutely.
Right. She knows. But this is, now we're it, right? On 3 days from now?
3 days from now, we are going to end up with almost 800 men and boys at Faneuil Hall for the Governor's Proclamation celebration. This is our 10th anniversary event. There's still room. People can go online and sign up. But we also decided this year, with this campaign being the 10th anniversary, that we needed to go both broader and deeper. And you're helping us do both of those. Broader was we wanted to increase the number of ambassadors. We started this year with about 600, and now adding year 5, we're up to 725. And our goal is to reach 1,000 men who put their name on that list and make the commitment that you made, not only to live by the pledge, but to talk to other men and boys in their life about why this is important.
All right, so let me see. Let me put the camera right here. So we need how many?
So we need 1,000 total. That's my goal. We can go higher.
And how many are we doing
We're
right
at
now?
725 today.
Counting my boys here, right?
That's right.
725. So ladies and gentlemen, especially you guys, go on the website now and let's see if we can get that 1,000, because I got 2 of my guys here. I want to kind of give a little shout out to Yuri and Gabriel. Thank you guys for participating. I know I called you a couple months ago, and now you're here on Urban Update. Thank you so much for participating. What made you, Gabriel, kind of get involved when I called?
Well, as a father and obviously as a husband, and I've got 2 daughters, and I just want to make sure that I'm, a representative, and I take this very seriously, to promote, equality, respect, to speak out on this issue. My oldest daughter is about to go off to college. There's a lot of issues out there on the national scene. My youngest daughter is still in high school, and I just think that it's our responsibility to go out there and make sure that they are able to live their lives without any kind of bias, any kind of fear of sexual violence or domestic violence at all.
Now, one of the reasons why I called him, because he's got 2 daughters. I called this young man because he's got 2 boys, and this is something for men. So tell me a bit about why you got involved too.
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, thank you. And you have gotten me involved in a lot of very positive projects in the past, but this one is one of those that definitely hits home. I mean, I'm one who, not only as a father of 2 boys, and like Gabriel said, wanting to be able to teach them the right way, trying to be able to be confident that when they're adults, when they grow up to be men, they also know that they have the responsibility to also treat people the way that I hope that I've teaching them to treat people. At the same time, I went through what I would consider a tumultuous childhood. I have a to this day, very strong bond, very strong connection with my mom, and I know that we all do with our mothers. But we went through difficulties together, and nothing to do with domestic violence or any sexual violence or anything like that, but our own problems. And I just remember my entire life growing up thinking my mom deserves better. And if my mom deserves better, I think every woman deserves better. I think everyone deserves better. And I think that we all have a little bit to add, quite a bit of responsibility to add to that.
So are you proud of me? I got you two good guys, right?
Alberto,
all right, good. I got to share.
I can always count on you. You know, it's been amazing to me. When we started this campaign 10 years ago, we really had no idea what the response was going to be. You know, we started talking to a few men here, some people in business, people in communities, some people in schools, people who work with youth. And the first year we had about 300 men, sign up. And as I said, we've now grown over the last 10 years so that there are 700 men cumulative, 725 now, who put their name on the line. We have over 130 local organizations. It could be a city, a town, a company, a school who's signed on as an affiliate. They're taking this message and going deeper with it. I am so proud to see the men in Massachusetts take this issue seriously, because this is not a women's issue. This is a human rights issue. The White Ribbon Day campaign started because of a terrible massacre. It was actually the event that ended up coining the term femicide, where a young student at a polytech school in Montreal wrote this treatise about how women were ruining his life and taking his rightful place in that polytech school. And he went into a classroom with multiple guns and separated the men and the boys and killed 14 young women, hurt many others before taking his own life. And the men in Canada back in 1991 said, no, that is not what manhood means. We do not ascribe, to those values. We're going to do something about it. So they wore a white ribbon. And from that moment, it has just been amazing to see how this has resonated with men around the world who are like, we can either be the silent majority who don't say something when there's a sexist joke or when somebody doesn't treat somebody well or doesn't treat somebody with fairness or respect, or we can be proud to say what it really means what manhood really means to us is to be somebody who's not threatened by equality, who's not threatened, to talk and concerned about talking these issues. So we are so proud of Massachusetts to be at the forefront of this conversation and what you're able to do, talking to your daughters, talking to your sons, talking to your coworkers, your fans, your neighbors, the people you go to a place of worship, wherever it might be. That's how we're going to make culture change, and it is just heartwarming to me and to so many survivors out here.
I think for a lot of us too, it's when I have guys who are friends of mine or people I respect, I respect Byron Barnett a lot, I respect Felix Arroyo, and obviously Evan Falchuk, and I have Gabriel and Yuri here. I think with among us, I think in numbers you have force. It's good to know that you are doing something with a lot of guys who right?
Yeah, I think it takes a bigger man to actually step up and fight for this kind of cause. I have two sons as well, and when I look at them and I see their classmates at school, I'm heartened and am encouraged by how they treat not only their male friends, but also more importantly their female friends, like the way my sons do at school. And it really starts at a young age. And if there's no age limit, I'd love to have my sons be white ambassadors as well.
Because you have two of them, right?
Well, yeah, and just thinking about it, just having this conversation, you really just, for me anyways, I start thinking about my personal life. And, I have arguments with my girlfriend. I have arguments. We have differences in opinions all the time. And I know that we both make the huge effort, and we've talked about this, and we stay up and talk about it. You know what? Whenever we feel that it's getting to the point where we really need to talk, have an adult conversation. Mm-hmm. My sons are 6 and 3 now. We make sure that we say, boys, mommy and daddy will be right back. We close our door, we go into our bedroom, and we have at it. We talk, and I think that I'm so, to be honest, I'm very proud of myself, very proud of us as parents, because they're kids. At the end of the day, they're kids, and they do mimic everything that we do. They do learn from us, and I want them to know, you know what? Mommy respects daddy as much as daddy respects mommy, and this is how you deal with a problem. And I was very captivated by the term culture that you used, because when you said that, I think about it, and when you, I guess to me anyway, my opinion is when you mention domestic violence, it does seem like the culture is that it's a woman's problem, it's a woman's issue. But when you put, I don't want, for lack of a better term, that twist on it, that it is a men's issue, it is a man's issue, it is a community's issue, it is a cultural issue. it is a change in culture we're looking for.
And this is not just about domestic violence to women. This is all gender-based violence. It's rape. I
Absolutely.
mean, it is broader than that.
It is broader. You know, when we started the campaign, you know, out in when it started in Canada, it was really focused on violence against women. And here in Massachusetts, as we've been working on this the last 10 years, we thought, you know, our analysis of violence against women is that, you know, there's an imbalance of power, an abuse of power in a relationship or where that happens, but that can affect anybody. And that is why, you know, we have to recognize that sexual and domestic violence happen in LGBTQ communities at the same or higher rates as in heterosexual and cisgender communities, partly because of the internalized oppression that those communities are experiencing. But we have to also recognize that it affects people at all ages and in all communities, every zip code. It doesn't matter how wealthy or how much, you know, what kind of money you have or where you got your education. It does affect everybody, and it presents itself sadly too often.
Now, before we close off the segment, I'm going to ask Jen Gross to put up the pledge, because there is a pledge that we've all subscribed to, and it says, "From this day forward, I promise to be part of the solution in ending violence against women and all gender-based violence." That is the Massachusetts White Ribbon Day pledge. You can obviously find more information at janedoe.org. I want to thank you guys for coming in this morning. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. I'll see you at Fenway. I'll see you at Fenway too, because you love baseball as much
And I'll
as
see
we
you
do.
all on March 1st. I
March
hope at
1st.
Faneuil
That's
Hall.
right.
Wednesday, this
I want it in
Wednesday.
Spanish.
Yes.
Perfect. You got
All
it.
right. We'll get those in Spanish. All right.
Perfect.
Up next, a unique free crowdfunding platform that empowers environmentally minded entrepreneurs. All the details right here on Urban Update.